What's up there, YouTubers and fellow riders? Kim is back at it again, cooking up another DIY for you. Today we're going to be installing the 12 o'clock Labs Speedo DRD healer. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? In my last video I showed you tips and tricks on how to easily perform a chain and sprocket service and how to select and use those tools required for that job. Now in that video I also changed my chain and sprocket configuration, moving over to a JT style sprocket 530X drive chain versus the traditional OEM 525 O-ring style. And I also increased my front side sprocket teething to a larger tooth, 18 tooth, while still maintaining the OEM 42 tooth in the rear. Now, moving over to the larger front sprocket has its pros and cons depending on your riding style and what you're looking for as far as performance versus comfort. And since I use my bike mostly for commuting to and from work, putting something like 12 to 1300 miles a month, mostly riding in a straight line, I wanted a configuration that offered better gas mileage, lower RPM windings in the higher freeway gears, and an overall less taxation on my body. Now, what do I mean by taxation on my body? Well, those high RPM winds in your 5th and 6th gear due to increased RPM gearing ratios equates to vibration that travels through your bike's frame and into your body, causing things like fatigue and numbness of the hands on those long rides. Now with the larger front side sprocket, like the 18 tooth that I put on, this vibration will greatly be reduced in your freeway cruising gears, but at the cost of a slightly slower takeoff. So you rob from one to give to another, so to speak, when you increase the front side sprocket teething. Now, another one of those associated drawbacks that comes with changing gear ratios is inconsistent speed readings on your gauge cluster. Now, let's talk about why that's important for a second. Resale value for one. If you've increased your gearing ratio, the chances are your cluster is logging in more miles than you're actually putting on the bike. When you go to sell that bike, you're not going to get the amount of money that it's worth due to the false mileage readings. So if you're that guy who likes to sell your bike every few years for a newer one, then I highly suggest you get yourself a Speedohealer if you've changed out your gearing or your sprockets. Now with all that said, let's talk about the gas mileage tracking. Now I use my trip meter religiously. If you have your Gixxer for as long as I have, then you know that the gas mileage indicator sucks ass, and you cannot rely on this damn thing to accurately tell you when the next fill up is. Now, I've been on the side of the road for about maybe 4 times since I've had the life of this bike with an empty tank because that gas indicator light never came on. Since then, I've learned that using the trip meter to log my miles lets me know precisely how many miles I have to go before I find myself on the side of the road again. Calling Freeway Protective Services to come and give me a free gallon of gas just to get my happy ass to the next gas station. So with all that said, do yourself a favor and get yourself a Speedohealer unless you enjoy experiencing all those negative things that I just mentioned. Now before we begin, I'd like to give a shout out to K4 Rider who offered the suggestion of this video. Without further ado, let's get on with it. Alright guys, so taking a look at what we get in the packaging when it arrives from Amazon, we get the Speedohealer itself with the connectors, the OEM connectors that we need so that there's no modification to our bikes whatsoever. So it's simply just a plug-and-play device where we disconnect the instrument gauge cluster, plug it into one side, we disconnect the speed sensor and plug it into the other side, and the healer itself rectifies the issue here with a little bit of programming on our part. Inside the packaging we do get this cool little 12 o'clock Lab sticker, and I think I am going to put this on my bike. I kind of like the way it looks. So also we also get a little zip tie here to button things out of the way, along with a set of instructions. I went ahead and opened up these instructions, and they are very detailed in nature, so programming is a cinch, and I will show you how to do that in one bit. Alright guys, so taking a look at the healer itself, you can go ahead and take a look inside. I'm not quite sure if you can quite see that, but there's an epoxy coating in there that protects the circuit board from any type of moisture and debris, which is great. I've seen that the older versions didn't have this, and I'm not sure if it was prone to issue, and that's why they went ahead and readjusted their model. But at any rate, this great design here protects all the circuitry on the inside, and we also get this thick outer plastic shell which protects it from any type of crushing or vibration that might damage the unit. Inside here we also have a push button which allows us to program the device, and I'll show you that in a minute. And we also get a couple of LED lights which change color during programming to let us know that we're on the right path. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the website, the 12 O'Clock Labs website, and I want to show you how you can view this product on your own. And there's also going to be some information on there that you need to put in to the website in order to get the correct reading off your instrument gauge cluster. Alright guys, so we're on the 12 O'Clock Labs website, and you can find that at the number 12o'clocklabs.com. And once we get to the website, you're going to want to go ahead and go to products, which can be found right here. You're going to click the products button, and you can see the various products that they actually sell. But the one we're interested in today is the Speedo DRD or SDRD healer, and you can see it's priced at $79.99. So we're going to go ahead and click this link right here, and it's going to bring us to the actual page where you can purchase this product from 12 O'Clock Labs. Again, like I said, you can find this cheaper on Amazon.com, and the link is provided in the descriptions below. Now, there's a couple of things that we need from this website, and I'm going to show you why we need to come here in the first place. Now, if we scroll down to the bottom of the site, they have a setup calculator, and we're going to need this calculator in order to program our offset, or the percentage that we are off on our bike. And they provide you this nifty little calculator on how to do so. So go ahead and click that link, and we get brought to this page right here where it tells you it's calculating your gearing and or tire size. Now you can do this in two fashions. One, you can use a GPS and take your bike out for a ride, or if you know all your specs, you can go ahead and punch them into this calculator right here, and it will automatically perform the calculation for you. So we're going to go ahead and put in our factory specs on the top here, and this is what it's asking for right here, factory specs. Let me go ahead and zoom in on that so you can see for yourself what it's saying. So our factory specs, now the factory the gearing from the factory comes 17 tooth, and that's what we're going to want to put here. We're going to want to punch in the number 17 here, and let me go ahead and do that real quick. And if I can get my keyboard out, so I'm going to punch in 17 here. Now that is the front sprocket right here, so that's what we're putting in right there. And the rear sprocket is a 42, so this is coming OEM from Suzuki. It's a 17 in the front and a 42 in the rear. Now if you have that European one, you're going to want to put that European number in here, which is a 43 tooth, or they call it the world model. And quite frankly, I can't tell you why they have two different versions of it, but 17 in the front, 42 in the rear is what you're going to want to put. Now for tire circumference, you're going to want to go outside to your motorcycle and take a look at what size tire you have. Now this is the radius of the tire, so if you have a 16-inch tire, then you're going to put 16. If you have a 17, you're going to put 17 in there. I have a 17, so I'm going to put a 17 in here. Now we're going to go in here to where it says your specs. Now what are we changing this to? Now I went ahead and changed mine to an 18 tooth front side sprocket, so I'm going to go ahead and select 18, and my rear sprockets did the same, so we're going to leave it at 42. And of course my tire size is going to be 17, so we're going to put 17 in there. And once you're done with that, inputting your calculations, you're going to go ahead and hit calculate. And at the bottom, if I can go ahead and adjust the camera a little bit, it's going to give you your calculations, the percentages that you're off. And as you can see right here, we are at 5.9%. So we need to note down this number right here, this ratio right here, and we're going to be inputting that into our Speedohealer. But after you hit that calculate button, it's going to give you some directions right here. You can go ahead and choose to print those out if you want to make things easier. As you can see, it tells you the number of blinks that the lights on the Speedohealer will be giving you and what color they will be giving you them in. So pay close attention to that, and it may benefit you to go ahead and print this out. Alright guys, so one important note I forgot to mention: before you go programming your new front sprockets or all your sprocket information here on the calculator, you want to make sure that you go ahead and have this top portion up here checked to selected under M. M being the new version, X being the older version. Now if you go ahead and take a look at their website, and they do have a few video tutorials on here too, actually, that explain how to program the new version and the older version. You can see for yourself, but on the website it does say check your packaging and or actually the product for a specific number. Now I wasn't able to find that on any of my packaging, but just to let you know that what we are working with here is the M version. All right, so first we're going to begin by trying to locate the actual connector that we need to find, and that is going to be your speed sensor connector. So you're going to reach onto the side of the bike right here and wiggle your speed sensor wire, and that's going to show you where the actual connector is. And mine is right here, since I have it all zip tied with all my additional add-on wires here. But this is the wire that we need to remove. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that, and so we can insert our Speedo DRD. Okay, so I got me a little pick tool right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab my connector, and as you can see, the release tab, we need to pick it up and slide it out, and it's that simple. I'm going to go ahead and grab my speed doctor and connect it in place. There we go. Now this you're going to want to try and mount out the way. The recommendation is to keep it away from any type of spark plugs or power wires. So and you're also going to want to keep it free from any area that's going to get excessive heat or moisture. So I'm going to go ahead and try and run it up into this area following the frame and out into the battery location where I know it's going to be safe. So let me go ahead and pan the camera over that way. And I'm going to put mine up near the ECM area so that I know that it's safe. But for now, we're going to leave it right here, and so that we can program it. Alright guys, so following the instructions on my printout guide, we're going to turn the ignition on and put it in the accessory mode. We're not going to start the bike. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to press and hold the this button right here that I'm pointing at for 5 red blinks, and then release. This is going to put us in a percentage adjustment mode. So let's go ahead and do that. And let go. Once you get that flashing green, red, and it's green and red light back and forth, we're going to go ahead and hold the button down till we see the green LED. This is going to put us in the positive side of the numbers. If you're going down in sprocket sizes, yours should be red. So mine is green. So let's go ahead and hold that till we see a green light. Green. Let go. All right. Our first digit is 0. Remember, we're going in 100s, so our first number is going to be 0. We have 05.9 that we need to put in, so we're going to go ahead and hold this for 10 green blinks. And release. And once we see the flashing lights again, green and red, we're going to go ahead and move to the next digit. In my case, it's a 5, so we're going to go ahead and hold this button down for 5 green blinks. And release. Got the flashing lights again. Now my next digit is 9, so we're going to go ahead and hold this button down again for 9 green blinks, and then release. And release. And you should see a various pattern, a solid pattern actually, of orange, red, and green. And that means programming is complete. Alright guys, so with programming complete, you can go ahead and button her all up. As you can see, I have mine located here right next to the ECM, and they give you plenty of length on this wire to actually go ahead and tuck it away where it's safe and secure. But programming was for this was very simple. I mean, I have to give them credit. They give you all the tools that you need. That website application is a great help. There's no need for you to hop on your bike with a GPS and go and run out for 60, rev the bike up to 60 miles an hour and track it with your GPS system. You can go ahead and do that way, but this by far is the most simplest way to actually do this application. But that brings us to a close right here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and if you're looking for this product right here specifically, I'll go ahead and put it in the description section so you can purchase it yourself if you're looking for a Speedohealer. By far one of the most easier ones to install, I have to say. But as always, I'm the chemist, and I'll see you next problem.